Today we're going to take a deep dive into subsurface mining. We're going to be talking about equipment, where to go, how to actually mine it, and we're also going to be talking about some of the bugs and exploits that are currently in the game related to this type of mining. The D2 merch store is open. There are t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, mugs and tote bags with many cool designs. Head down to the link in the video description and get yourself your merchandise today. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous with Down to Earth Astronomy. Let's talk about subsurface mining. We're gonna go over everything you need to know to be efficient and to make some money real quick. And let's just dive straight into the equipment. This is not going to be like a build guide or anything like that. I have planned build guides both for the Corvette. A lot of you guys have been requesting it. The video is coming. I'm also planning a more long-range ship if you're planning to go deep space mining and flying back and forth between the bubble and the mining spots. So stay tuned for those build guides when they come out. But let's start by having a look at the hard points. Of course, here you will need subsurface displacement missiles. I highly recommend that you fit the medium-sized one. They carry 3 times as much ammo as the small-sized ones. That's really the only difference, is they just carry more ammo. You can see here that I have fitted 2. While this is not a must-have, I do recommend it if you're carrying more than 200 tons of cargo, because even though these does carry a maximum ammo of 96, you can run out, and I have been in situations on longer mining trips where I did run out from a single subsurface miner. So if you have more than 200 tons of cargo, I do recommend you bring at least 2 medium-sized ones so you're sure not run out of ammo. Yes, I'm aware you can synthesize, but I try to make my builds not be reliant on synthesis, so that's why I recommend at least fitting 2. In the utility slots, you will need a pulse wave scanner or pulse wave analyzer. The bigger it is, the better. So fit whatever you have. They are quite power hungry, so this can be a good place to save some power by downgrading that to a lower rate if you're having power issues with your build. There's really nothing special here in the core internals. It's pretty much all the stuff that you're used to with good thrusters, good FSDs. I do, however, recommend if you are going to engineer anything with your core internals, do go for the thrusters, because speed and maneuverability is an important factor here. So this is also something when you can take into considerations when you're doing your ship selection. This is why I'm running in a Corvette. Because of the high mining speed, I felt like running in a Python, my mining trips became too short, because I would fill up my cargo too quick. Yeah, luxury problem, I know. But that meant I spent a disproportionate amount of time running back and forth between the carrier and the mining spot. So I decided to try and upgrade to a bigger ship. And that's why I chose the Corvette, for its excellent maneuverability, at least for its size, so that it would be easy for me to move around those fast spinning rocks and keep up with the subsurface deposit so I could be more efficient. Optional internals, this is where all the fun stuff happens. Of course, you will need cargo. The more cargo, the better. And there's always a balancing act between collector limpets and cargo. Here in the Corvette, you can see I have gone with 3 Class 7 cargo racks, which I feel is a pretty good point. I can fill that up in an hour, just over an hour-ish. Fitting a shield is probably a good idea. You are going to be flying at relatively fast speeds, close to fast-spinning asteroids, so some kind of shield is a good idea. I've gone bi-weave, but normal shields will do. Prismatics, also fine. Then, of course, you will need collectors, and you will probably need more collectors than you are used to, because when you're doing laser mining, you can mine the same spot and all the fragments nicely clump up, and you can make them shoot underneath your ship so they're close to your cargo hatch, and that means the travel time for the collectors are really small. Though we do create fewer fragments with this type of mining, they are more spread out, especially when you get to spinning rocks. As you spin around them, you follow the spot around, they eject out, but you keep following around, so they go all over the place. So you do need more collectors. Again, I feel try to aim about 10 or maybe slightly above 10 is a good point, like 10, 11, 12 collectors feels like a pretty optimal point. That was at least the point when I felt like I didn't get a huge benefit from having more collectors. Then of course you will need a refinery, bigger the better, a prospector. Here you can make do with a class 1. You don't really need the 2 active limpets in a class 3. I fitted one because I had the room for it anyway, so why not just fit it? But really, any size prospector is just fine. And of course, you will also need a detailed surface scanner so you can find the hotspots. So that's pretty much it for equipment, and let's talk about where you need to go and mine. Subsurface deposits are dependent on overlaps. The number of subsurface deposits you find seems to be constant regardless of whether you go into a single or a triple overlap. However, it does seem that the chance of getting a specific material is dependent on the overlap. So that means there's a higher chance that a subsurface deposit is going to contain low temperature diamonds if you are in a triple overlap. With the recent change Frontier did as a post-patch after the fleet carrier update, they did change it specifically for low temperature diamonds, so those work differently than all the other materials now, meaning that low temperature diamonds get a higher chance for if you are at the center of a hotspot, and it decreases faster as you go out. This means if we take the hotspot out here in the Call 285 sector, which of course is the main mining spot for a lot of people, many people would drop into the triple core overlap. I would actually recommend, I've actually had better results dropping into the center of the 3 hotspots. But again, I haven't done enough runs to make a statistic conclusive answer whether it's better to go into one place or the other. So how do we actually do subsurface mining? Well, first of all, we're going to get out our pulse wave scanner and we're going to begin scanning the belt. Just as with core mining, we are looking for bright yellow asteroids. It's a little different than core mining since we're not looking for any specific shape. Fly up to them, fire off a prospector. Because of the relatively long travel distances you have between these rocks, I have adopted a tactic where I would just go full boosts, and then just before I slam nose first into the rock, I put all pips to shield. This ensures that I get between the rocks as fast as possible, and then when I hit it, I can just put in that prospector. Once you prospected the rock, head over to your left-hand panel, go into the contact tabs, and there you will be able to see if there are subsurface deposits. They will show up with the small icon with this little tab pointing downwards. If it's pointing upwards, it's a surface deposit, so do look very carefully at the small icons. Once you located the deposit and you lined yourself up, go ahead and fire a subsurface displacement missile. You only need one, so if you have 2 launchers, just disable one of them. And you need to pull and hold down the trigger as you're firing. A small UI is going to open in the lower left-hand corner and it's beginning to drill into the rock. I just paused the video here so we can go over the UI. The top part of the little UI here shows the rock density as you drill down deeper and deeper into the rock. When this graph here is high, that means you're drilling into high density rock and the drill is going to go slower. When it's low, that means it's in low density rocks and the drill is going to be moving faster. The speed it's moving is affecting the little graph below it, which will scroll by, and the speed at which it's scrolling is dependent on the graph above, whether it's high or low density. Your job is to, again, keep holding the trigger and release while it's inside the blue areas. These blocks comes in various widths, from just being 1 block wide up to 4 blocks wide. The narrower it is, the more fragments you will get. So keep that in mind, that you would probably want to skip the 4 and 3 block wide signals and only go for the ones that are 2 or 1. If you're starting out in the beginning, I mean, there is a bit of a learning curve here. You can go for the 3s and the 4s just as you get some practice in, but as you get better, you really only should be going for 2s and 1s if you feel comfortable. Once you successfully release the trigger inside the blue area, fragments will be coming out. And these are super chunks. These are not the same chunks that you get from laser mining. You will first of all see they are visibly larger. These chunks give a lot more. I think they are around 80% or something of a low temperature diamond. So they give a lot of progress towards refining. You can almost get a full ton from each pickup. And these can, if you hit some of the narrower bands or narrower signals, you can get up to 10, 11 fragments out of this. It's not uncommon to see people getting in the vicinity around 25 low temperature diamonds from a single subsurface deposit. That is as much as you get out of a full core deposit, like cracking it open, collecting everything. So this is why this is so amazing and so fast to mine using this method. And especially if you can find a rock with multiple subsurface deposits with low temperature diamonds in it. Now once you are done with all the subsurface deposits on a given rock, all the chunks has been collected, it's time to find the next one. So you go back, get your pulse width scanner and begin scanning. Look for the next one. However, I can imagine a lot of you is already scrolling down to post a comment about all the different methods that are available to make the rocks respawn. There is, at least at the time of this recording, 2 that I'm aware of. Quite simply, just log out to the main menu and come back in. If you do that, you will be spawned right outside the mass lock range of the ring, but right above the spot where you were. So if you just point, straight down into the ring again, fire your pulse width scanner, you should see your rock light up. You can go back, and it has now respawned its subsurface deposits and can be remined again. 90% sure this is a bug, and probably something Frontier will fix at some point. The other thing that some people are doing is, it seems if you fly 25 kilometers away from the rock and come back to it again, the same thing will happen, the rock will have respawned. Personally, I prefer to just go scan the next rock. It's a much more enjoyable experience, but I know if I didn't mention these two things, you guys would be all over in the comment section, so here you are. But that's pretty much it. Remember that I have those 2 mining builds coming out, both for the Corvette that you see here. I know you guys have been requesting it. Also the Anaconda build for a more deep space version of it, for actually flying back and forth if you don't have a fleet carrier yourself. Thanks a lot for watching. If you found this video useful, go down and give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I will see you guys in space.